What's the richest thing someone has done in front of you? I had just turned 17 a few days prior and had some money saved to buy a piece of car for $2,000. It's all I could afford to buy myself at the time, and I did not want any financial help from my family. After driving it for 10 miles, smoke started to pour out of the hood and the temperature of the car was in the red zone. I let the car cool down, drove another 5 miles, and it happened again. I called my mom and dad for help to no avail. So then I called my grandma, also known as Noni. Well, Noni flipped it that I wasn't given a safer, better car from my parents, so she picked me up, gave me the keys to her 2001 Mercedes E320, and had me drive her to the Mercedes dealership, where she then bought herself a brand new Mercedes GLE class that had just come out a few months prior. This all happened within an hour. I remember thinking at the time, damn, I hope I can be rich enough one day to buy a brand new Mercedes on the spot. Richest thing I ever saw. Love you, Noni. Is Noni single? Lol. Noni is happily married to Nono, the man who gives her the ability to buy these things. They are celebrating their 50th anniversary this summer on the island they immigrated from about 60 years ago. They had nothing. Noni used to eat orange peels off the ground. Now she eats the best lobster around that my Nono cooks her and drives around in her Benz. You wish she was single. Buy a brand new $60,000 BMW without hesitation. He was a Saudi dude I was tutoring in English and he needed a car. So he just bought one with the same attitude that one would have when buying a gas station sandwich. People with that kind of money are just living in another reality. Saudi guy I know from university got something like $200,000 a month from his family. Unbelievable wealth in that country. Delivered a pizza to a hotel. Dude was super drunk and had a bottle of expensive scotch almost finished. Bribed me like $20 every 10 minutes to keep talking to him by literally throwing money onto a chair every few minutes. Let me try to his 15k Rolex and offered me the keys to his classic car for free. Dude was boasting the whole time about owning an oil company too. Turns out he wasn't lying when I looked him up. Still didn't want to risk a millionaire sending lawyers after me when he sobers up and realizes he gave away his car while drunk. I saw someone crash a Lamborghini and 10 minutes later a driver showed up with a Ferrari and buddy drove off while his driver waited for the tow truck. How rich do you have to have someone on call to bring you a new luxury car when you're in an accident? GTA Online doesn't count. A long time ago, I worked at a security at a casino. I remember once watching a man bet 15k, 3 5k chips, a hand at blackjack and lose literally every hand without any reaction whatsoever. He probably lost 60k in the 5 minutes I sat watching him. Also, there used to be an elderly guy who would come in and have the entire section of the high roller slot machines reserved for himself. He'd spend 10 or 12 hours going down each row pulling handles at between $100 and $500 a spin. He would usually give advance notice that he was coming and there would be servers and attendants specifically assigned to him while he was there. We went to this fancy restaurant after my child's baptism. The godfather asks for the wine list. The waiter brings it. The godfather rolls his eyes and hands it back. The real wine list, please. The waiter obviously knew what he meant, like this was a regular thing with high rollers, and comes back with the real wine list. We drank good, expensive wine that day. Godfather's treat. Damn, I'm gonna do this when I go to a restaurant. Waiter, bring me the bread list. I worked on a 124 feet yacht and went to look at another yacht he was interested in buying that was stored and owned by the shipyard. The broker was being a real dick, so we just walked off, but he really wanted this classic, and he called the yard owner. After not getting much help, he calls his legal team, tells them to buy the whole f***ing yard. 2 weeks later and he and his team took possession of the yard, his new yacht, Trumpy, and several others. Told me to come with him for the management meeting and fired the f*** out of the broker. I got my first real captain's job out of the deal. Pressed the lift button for his floor, and the lift opened into his apartment. NYC, Singapore. A rich woman had a flat tire and didn't know how to fix it, so I pull over to help her. When I was done we got talking and whoops, she so happened to drop her wallet and it landed at my feet. She said keep it. I felt so bad, I said no I can't. She insisted. See, I get home and in the wallet $987 was in there with ungodly amounts of change. This was last month as well. That $987 paid off one of my college loans. I will be honest, I cried a little because of this person. Refurnish an entire house with brand new, expensive designer furniture, and toss out the old designer furniture on the curb like it was broken down junk. Couches, beds, wardrobes, you name it. The old furniture was only a year old, they'd purchased it all brand new the year before. My mom cleans houses for a living. She told me she was cleaning an apartment that was bought by the owner of a house she cleans for her daughter. Apparently the apartment was owned by an Indian guy who asked for handmade furniture from India to be shipped to his apartment, but he didn't like how small it was, so he sold it with all of the furniture. The daughter of the person that bought it didn't like the furniture, so they're just giving it away. My brother is fairly wealthy, not like super rich or anything, but he makes way more money than anyone else in the family. He buys new stuff all the time. Like, he'll replace all the TVs in his house every year or two. They still work perfectly, but there's a new one out that's slightly better and it's apparently enough to get him to buy 4 or 5 TVs. Most of the nice stuff I own is just stuff he gave me after he'd had it for a couple years. I remember once in the 1990s, I was at a gay bar in Manhattan and there was an ATM machine inside. The dude in front of me got some money, took the receipt, didn't look at it, crumbled it up, and tossed it on the floor. When he left, I picked it up and looked at it because I'm nosy. The available balance, in a fucking checking account, mind you, was $17 million. If the guy wasn't so old and ugly, I might have started flirting. Sounds like you're making excuses. Next time just spring into action and get on your knees. I'm the old, ugly, rich dude now. But, I did learn a lesson. When my husband dies or disappears under mysterious circumstances, I'm gonna go around the gay bars checking my balances until a Sugababi appears. Was in a small size little bar for breakfast in SF. In comes a guy who orders the same as I did, pancakes with coffee. We finish around the same time and I leave my regular 15% tip. Service and the food wasn't special, but whatever, I'm a European and I know it's their salary basically. But this other guy starts counting his $100 bills. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. He smiles, shuffles them together, puts his empty cup on top and leaves. His bill was about $20 or something. He paid $1,000. I mean, I just stayed to witness the reaction from the waitress. She was so happy with this guy leaving an almost $200 tip. I kid. I did not touch her money. She was deliriously happy and started jumping up and down as her colleagues came in wondering what was going on. When I was looking for student accommodation and renting my first flat house share, my partner of the time phoned her dad. Hey dad, there aren't any nice ones in the area I like, can you still buy that house we were looking at the other day? I knew they were rich but thought she was taking the piss. A few weeks later, after staying in a hotel, she moved into her first home. With all of those legally binding Instagram posts, hard work pays off. Finally got my first house. A 2-bed, at 18 in a major city. We had split up since, obviously. There was a cool perk through. I worked for her family at this point and they gave me paid holiday and then paid for me to go on holiday. When I worked as a computer tech, I went out to a house call. I arrived and realized it should have been called an estate call. The place was senselessly large. I go to this guy's office to look at his computer and I needed a pen for something. He opened his desk drawer and asks me if guns made me uncomfortable because he had one in that same drawer. I respond that I think guns are cool. Mild exaggeration. He proceeds to take me to his gun safe. I'd like this 9x9x9 bank vault. So many guns, it was insane. I was obviously impressed. He said, "Oh, you like this stuff? Check out my gun room." I tag along, more curious than interested. Then I see a room that dwarfs any other I've seen in a residential building. There were guns like you wouldn't believe, 50-caliber mounted machine guns, small cannons, like every small arm from the Civil War to modern time. Even as a gun novice I knew enough to be impressed. Shit was crazy. Thanks for watching. Please consider liking the video and subscribe if you want more Ask Reddit.